Alright, so yeah, paladin, magic sword. I can't see enough to, you know, we get close to the blade.
Shadowverse.
Greetings, I'm Shad, and if you're familiar with my content, you might be aware that I often like to have a look at fantasy. As you can guess, because I'm a medieval enthusiast, I like medieval fantasies to be as medieval as you can, really, in terms of the depiction, the look, the style, and also the folklore. And so when I see fantasy races, I love to see elves, dwarves, dragons, all the traditional ones. With Dungeons & Dragons and how it's been evolving, there's a lot different races and creatures and fantasy concepts, making it a much more broad and vast kind of fantasy universe, which is fun. And I think both have their places. I can definitely enjoy a fantasy that seems to be more removed from its medieval traditional origins, and that's what this new movie kind of looks like. So first thing that I want to do is take a look at the costumes, really, well, because that'll give us an insight of some of the, I guess, fantasy world that this Dungeons & Dragons film is coming in. Now, like, I don't play D&D as much as I used to. I used to be crazy into D&D. It was the role-playing system. Its popularity is certainly growing in the modern day, but when I was a kid, I was craving a Dungeons & Dragons film, and unfortunately was disappointed by what we got. This new one already looks to be much higher quality. They have a cast of some pretty prominent actors. I really like Chris Pine, and so there's a good, you know, set up cast of talent here that could make something really fun and enjoyable. And so when we look at the costumes, or bring it up now, this is Chris Pine's character. So I gotta say, right, I'm not really a fan of his outfit. It looks very... The jacket is mostly modern with only a couple of little flares of medieval things, or, you know, they have like leather straps that are, it just looks like they've tried to stylize it more in a coat. It can work though. It seems like he's going to be playing a bard, and I have seen the trailer. I'm going to go through it and react with you. But in the trailer, I think the bard persona, he's able to, it works. I think it's working. And like I said, I do like Chris Pine. Not a huge fan of the outfit. All right, so now we have Michelle Rodriguez, sorry for pronunciation, clearly playing a barbarian. And, the axe looks like, so this feels like it's probably intentional, all right? So maybe my criticism is misplaced here, but it really does feel like they purposely have tried to make them look like some of the more campy, exaggerated fantasy characters. Because when you see, like, you know, fantasy art, there's the more exaggerated ones with like really over-the-top axes. Their armor looks fake as well and stuff, and it just doesn't look as authentic. And so I don't like the axe is just way too bulky and unrealistic. Though if this is lighthearted, I could just go with it, I guess. If it's just fun, I do like super oversized weapons when it's just for fun, and maybe they can sell it. If they can do that, I can get on board with it. Her armor, though, just, I don't know, it just doesn't look good. It looks fake, looks like non-authentic leather with just fur put on the edges. It kind of gives me, the vibe is actually from a character that was in one of the Pathfinder adaptations. So Pathfinder is like an expansion on Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 rules, and there's a barbarian character, and they a similar vibe of armor. It's pretty tropey in terms of barbarian armor. I'm not a fan myself. I guess when I think of Barbarian, I always think of Conan the Barbarian, and I like that aesthetic a bit more. This one, just, I don't know, misplaced fur a bit. Alright, so I don't know who this actor is. No, the armor looks bad as well. They're going for like a type of muscle cuirass, and I could kind of get with it, but then it has kind of this scale mail half thing underneath the pauldron. And one of the... So armor, right? You have the breastplate, then you have the fold underneath. There's this bad, like, when I say bad, so there's good fantasy art, there's bad fantasy art. There's a trope in what's more commonly seen in bad fantasy art where they just have these odd, out-of-place kind of thigh guards that hang down from the breastplate. And we see it right here. It's like if you're going to have something to guard the lower, part of your waist, get a proper fold, right? You're like vulnerable right in the middle. So this could be intentional. They actually want it to look more tropey fantasy when they could have made it look more authentic and practical. So unfortunately, it just looks a bit fake, don't you think? Is he an elf? Yeah, he's a slightly pointed ears. So we've got 3 humans, I don't know, if you're going to be making a classic D&D party, you would want, generally, and I know this isn't the case for even most role-playing groups, because characters will play the characters they want, and so if you want a D&D movie to reflect the stereotypical adventuring party, you generally want kind of like the Dragonlance treatment, where you have a character you have a dwarven character, you have an elven character, and then you might have, a character that represents Kenda in Dragonlance, but halflings are, that range, and then maybe the ranger, the paladin, and stuff. But you got 3 humans, so human bard, human barbarian, human paladin by the look of it, and now we get elven magic user. Is it going to be a dwarf? And so she looks like a tiefling. I'll play it so we can get... Sorry, what a slingshot mounted on the arm? That is cringe. That is just... I'm sorry, that's... I hate it. That's awful. Oh, man. And so, look, she looks like a tiefling, got the horns. And everyone loves tieflings now. Oh, come on, give us a dwarf. Again, it's my traditionalist nature. Look, if it's a good character, I can definitely enjoy it. Hugh Grant. That's Hugh Grant. Hey, so I don't know which character he's playing, but I actually it's a brocade. It's still in a modern cut. This is actually, this is not even, I think it's even past Regency, this style. It's got the cravat. This is like early 1800s outfit, and so very not medieval. It doesn't give me medieval vibes. I like the brocade. The brocade is medieval. The outfit just, again, it's exaggerated fantasy where they're going to be pulling from just stylized things from the past by the look. Like it could be Regency, it could be Renaissance. Oh, but actually it's a longer coat. It's almost like is it Justacorp or Justacorp? I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like a Justacorp jacket, I think, which is like the classic long pirate jacket. All right, I gotta say, look, my own impression is I'm not a fan of the costumes. I think they look pretty cheap, unfortunately, but there's some decent actors. Let's have a look at the trailer. Okay, so they do the thing where they're just quick flashes before the intro. Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, official trailer. Okay, so look, I think it's exciting to have a more higher budget D&D film. Hope it's good. I do hope it's good. Cool fantasy castle, yeah. It's very kind of stock standard. Nothing making it particularly unique. Is that a hot air balloon? Just right like there, just a hot air balloon because again, I don't know. Exaggerated fantasy. To me, hot air balloons just pulls me out of a medieval fantasy world. I think Chris Pine is just going to be carrying this film. He's got so much charm and is a really enjoyable actor. He can just deliver his lines just in an enjoyable way. So, and if it's going to be the kind of roguish bard, so the question will be that I guess people will be comparing it what would be better, this or Rings of Power? I'm going to do a dedicated video looking at the effort that's gone into just the weapons and armor designs. I have broader thoughts on Rings of Power that you can check out on Night's Watch if you're interested in my more, I guess, critical side of things. But here, Shadowversity, we like to analyze fantasy, weapons, armor, and things. And so I want to do a video just on Rings of Power. At the moment, just because there's a kind of like a fake look to the outfits, or the armor for one, the paladin guy, and the outfits just feel out of place. I don't know. I think even Rings of Power might have better outfits so far. Look at these gauntlets. It just doesn't look like it's metal. And that looks like foam painted with a metal sheen. It looks like crap. Just, you know? At least the trailer is having a bit of a narrative through line. I do a reaction to the Rings of Power trailer. Sorry, it's a teaser, but it's the final teaser. And there's non sequiturs in the narrative they're trying to structure here, but this is like, it shouldn't be hard to make a trailer that at least conveys what's going on. You don't want the trailer to give too much away, but I like what Chris Pine is doing here in terms of, I know, he didn't write it, but it's setting it up. All right, so Black Dragon coming in. Is it Black Dragon or Swamp Dragon? But looks very stereotypically like the Black Dragon design from D&D 3.5. Let me get it out. There he is, Black Dragon. Do you see that? Let's get that in. We can zoom in, okay? Very, very similar. So for some reason, Black Dragons, in this design, horns are coming closer and look, I like that. I like that. Hey, we're going to try and give you some of those little nods for the visuals, make it feel somewhat like the artwork that D&D has had in the past. So he's wearing armor in this shot. This is interesting. So he's bards can fight and stuff. Looks like leather-plated armor. Yeah, oh no, it's studded leather. Come off it. Oh, look at that. Still got a pulse right here, leather and studs. D&D, you've been perpetrating that and you keep doing it, don't you? Or just throwing studded leather. Just to piss me off, I bet. It's like, you watch my content, you're going to put studded leather, just to piss off this guy online. Look, clear as day. Studded friggin' leather, man. Come on. Watch my video on the Brigandine and get to some insight about the origins of studded leather. It's like if it was wearing Brigandine, fine, but this is clear studded leather crap. Okay, so the setup's pretty clear. Plucky thieving crew stole the wrong thing, did something bad, and obviously it's going to be upon themselves to try and fix it. I like that setup. It's fun, and one of the things about going too lighthearted is that it can sometimes be difficult to engage the audience in suspense and make them feel like the stakes matter. Hopefully they can do that, because you can pull it off. So you need to try and make us feel like something really bad is happening and engage and want to see it overcome. If this is just like generic fantasy magic villain thing, I have evil thing, it's not going to draw us in. The trailer's giving me those vibes. I didn't see anything really unique about the villain. If they can nail some of the other things, okay, the generic villain might not ruin it. Well, I haven't seen it, but it could be done really well. Not getting the vibes, like I mentioned. There are some nostalgia elements that you would hope to see in a D&D film that, I think in a previous D&D film didn't do. And a lot of fans of D&D, if they just get those things, I think even they will be... It'll give them a lift. It doesn't mean the movie will be redeemed just because... But I would like to see like a classic magic missile spell, Give us magic missile. And just some fun classic things that we have like in D&D.
Figure it out over a drink?
Probably best.
So, look, it's going to be lighthearted. And if it's just lighthearted fun and they pull it off, it'll be a lighthearted fun movie. And if it's enjoyable, that'll be great. One of the problems, and I think we really saw that with Thor Love and Thunder recently, if you just go too far into the lighthearted jokes and everything, undermining any dramatic tension, it gets boring because you're not invested in anything. So, super strong Barbarian. And that's one of the fun things about a role-playing game, because you can have anyone be the super strong Barbarian. You can have, make it a girl or guy. It doesn't matter. This is where fantasy, and especially with D&D, because D&D can be adapted to so many things. Like, absolutely, I'm on board, all right? So, look, the armor is awful. Like, just the weird kind of flute. It's not actual scales. It's like a weird fluting of some kind. And do not like it. And I'm not against a muscle cuirass. I think you could integrate a muscle cuirass into some other traditional armor. It does not fit for me right here. All right, so courage, paladin, magic sword. I can't see enough to, we get a close to the blade. Oh, wait. Okay. It was on a knife's edge. I think it just jumped the freaking shark for me. Are you kidding me? He has like a sword that just shoots off. Are they unironically doing one of the most dumb things? It's only like it's been depicted one of the worst films. Is it The Sword and the Sorceress that has the sword with the 3 blades and the blades shoot off?
They're the same picture.
Are you kidding me? Oh, that's so stupid. It just shoots off. And it looks so bad because it doesn't go. It's like they've tried to do it, I think, as a practical effect, and they're just trying to pull it, but they're not pulling it up with enough force, so it doesn't look like it's shooting off like a rocket. It looks like it's being slowly pulled. And why? Like, now you just have a knife. That was a full-bladed, like, look. Yes, there's throwing swords in medieval historical martial art treatises, okay? There are ways to be able to do it, but then you need to figure out the context. In what situation would you actually need to throw the sword, almost essentially disarming yourself or leaving, in this case, leaving you with a much more inferior weapon? And I kind of talk about this in my video on throwing daggers, okay? There are situations that's maybe a last resort, you need to throw your weapon, all right? It doesn't look like that's the situation here. It's just... Oh, that is so... I'm sorry. Oh, wow. If the people making this actually think that is cool, so much so they want to feature in the trailer, oh no, this is going to be awful. This is their standard. Not only their standard, this is what they thought was so cool they wanted to show it off. Oh, my goodness, that is dumb. Studded leather. I was like, okay, it's a trope. I was able to, but this is friggin' unforgivable. Gosh. I'm still speechless. Okay, tiefling lady. She's got, like, she's obviously, unless they're doing the weird elves that have the horns. Because sometimes there are depictions of elves with horns, and maybe, I don't know. So was she the horse? Was she posing like... I'm assuming if she's a druid, she can shape change. And then... But that was the horse changing and wasn't... Okay.
What is that again? It's now there.
See that? Look, that is funny. Like just some kind of observations of the weird and wacky world that D&D can be sometimes. I was like, and Chris was like, what even is that? Oh, so now by, they're common enough. Oh, okay. All right, that could be some kind of fun humor just by, like, showing the world. But how much of it will there be as well? And will that rob the tone? Okay, yeah, so it is her. She was posing as a horse and druid, shape-shifting druid. So, yep.
I'm glad he's on our side.
We'll see. They didn't show enough of the actual fight then to be able to gauge what the choreography is going to be like. So in the original Dungeons & Dragons film, they have to go through this maze that is this adventurer's maze, essentially, that's run by some guy. This is almost like, feels like they're not trying to remake, no, they can't be remaking the original D&D film. But it really feels like they are in an arena run by some quirky, aristocratic fantasy nobleman who owns the arena, and it becomes like a dangerous maze thing. And all right, Hugh Grant looks to be playing that guy. That's an exact same kind of setup as what was in the original D&D film. I don't know. It's just odd point of inspiration to retread that ground. Hey, like fake monster chest. It's fun to see. That's one of the fun things you want to see. So classic D&D monsters and things. Oh, look at that. Look at those shoulder pieces. It's awful. So is that like one of those like not slimers, like jelly monster things, a gelatinous cube that yeah, because look, there's like a dead person inside being devoured. And is that a chime? Oh, no. That's another classic beast. I forget the name, but I remember seeing it in the monster manual. So they have good classical D&D monsters. That'll be fun.
So you make plans that fail?
No.
He also plays the lute.
Not relevant.
Okay. So this could be a sign of that they might have some idea of good comedic timing. Most of that wasn't working until the punchline with the loot and then showing him do the loot thing. Yeah, I didn't laugh, but hey, it's lighthearted. And a bit self-deprecating humor. Sometimes I'm fine with that as well. So, and that's basically it. Yeah, I think the trailer had decent style overall with the pacing, the music, the narration over top that Chris is doing. So there's signs of some competence, but I gotta say that sword shooting thing, does not give me hope. I'm worried, and there's a lot of other elements in it that just seem to be a bit campy, low budget, some of the design. The story and setup is very basic. We would hope that there's more complexity in the actual movie. This is just a trailer giving it. My overall impressions, though, doesn't look too good, is my takeaway. Let me know what you think in the comments below. There was some just serious, again, that friggin' sword shooting thing is just, it's brought down at a lot. And combined with some other things, is still, I want it to be good. I like D&D. There's D&D traditionalists like me. Like, when I play D&D, I still play 3.5, baby. That's how much of a traditionalist I am. I'm not even, look, 4th edition I consider an abomination, and I hear good things of 5th edition, but again, I'm a traditionalist. So I was like, hey, I just like the 3.5. It's good. And, and then there's Pathfinder, which is basically that 3.5 expanded and even improved upon. So, for a traditionalist like me, it doesn't have, even 3.5 still had a bit more medieval traditional elements, but it was already expanding into the more stylized fantasy, depictions. And then current D&D has gone down that to a much, much further extent. It doesn't mean it won't be bad, and look, if it's just a fun, lighthearted film, maybe it'll be really enjoyable. To me, there's a lot of warning signs. We'll wait and see. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. I look forward to reading them, and of course, I look forward to seeing you on the next video here on Shadowversity. So until that time, farewell. Thank you to everyone who's come to watch this video. It really means the world, but unfortunately there are a lot of people who are not getting notified of my content. YouTube is currently deranking and suppressing content like mine in preference to other content, and a lot of my viewers and subscribers are not actually getting notified. One of the ways in which is actually truly a tremendous help in trying to break through this type of suppression is by subscribing. If you enjoy the content, please do subscribe and join us in the future. Liking and commenting helps boost the interactions on the video, which makes the algorithm realize that more people are engaged. And of course, sharing is absolutely really crucial to help everyone know that, yes, this video exists, and letting the people know who want to watch this content that it's actually made and it's released. Ringing the bell only does so much to try and get notifications. YouTube is actually not been notifying people who have even the bell rung, and so if you really want to ensure that you get notified when I upload, you can follow me on Facebook or Twitter. I announce when I upload on those platforms, and the ultimate way to make sure you never miss an upload and get the notification is by subscribing on my website. We'll send out email notifications to those people who are signed up on the website. There will also be special announcement and even potential bonus content for those people who subscribe on the website. For everyone who's doing that, thank you so much. It means the world, and especially those people who are going even the extra step and supporting me through the donation platforms. Currently, the primary ones have been Subscribestar and Patreon, but there's a new one that is brilliant called Utreon. Utreon is a video hosting platform that also does donation-style subscriptions like the memberships on YouTube currently, but it's also a great video hosting platform. And truly, if every one of my active viewers were able to donate between $1 to $5 a month, that would give me complete security and less reliant on the ad revenue system, which gives me options to pursue and try and support many alternative platforms, because unfortunately YouTube is caring less and less about content creators who are making content like me. I'm not the only one in this boat. So please do support the creators that you want to ensure that they can keep making content and that you get the content that you want to see. Genuinely thank you to everyone who's supporting in any way possible. It means the world. And thank you very much for having watched this video. Hope to see you on the next one.